I am telling you there are a lot of great reasons to invest. Pero ang pinaka-importante dito is your clarity. Why are you doing this? Okay? Why are you doing this? Kasi yung why, pag malinaw yon, ang dali ng how. Napakadali ng how. Napakadali din kung saan mo kukuhanin yung iyong pang-invest. Saan ko kukuhanin niya? Ang dali, kasi malinaw sa'yo yung why. So, sana mag-materialize yung ating susunod na acquisition. And with God's help. It's good to see you here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Alvin, we've been doing this for Brian, is it already parang 3 months na, no? I think 3 months na tayo. We started December. Ang gusto ko sanang maging format ng discussions natin ngayon is somehow a Q&A of what we had learned in the past. Ngayon, for sure, may mga bago tayong kasama. They're gonna wonder why. Ano yung pinag-uusapan nila? Diba? Ano yung pinag-uusapan nilang multifamily investing na yan and paano magsisimula? Siguro, one of the best way to do it is we'll start from a little bit, parang mag-backward tayo ng konti. Let's make a pause and then nilagay ko kasi dito is where to start. Saan ba tayo magsisimula pagdating sa multifamily investing? Kasi we were told that real estate is the way to go if you wanna get rich. Tama ba? Tama ba yan? I think so. We all heard it. Where do we start pagdating sa investing? Parang nasa kalagitnaan na tayo. Ang pinakamaganda kasing question dyan is why? Why are we going to do the multifamily investing? So pag pinag-usapan ng investment, okay, real estate is the way to go. However, ang dami kasing real estate portfolio. If you think about it, hindi lang isa ang category pag pinag-usapan ng real estate. Merong iba't ibang types. Land, commercial, like what we had discussed before, commercial strip malls, warehouse, industrial, offices, retail, shops, ang daming category ng real estate. Pero hindi ko nababanggit ang house, di ba? Kasi generally speaking, if we're not talking about how different it is ang Winnipeg market, generally, ang conclusion is a house is not an asset. Kasi it's the place where you live. Hindi siya nagbibigay sa'yo ng income in a sense na ikaw kasi ang nakatira doon sa bahay. Ang category kasi ng asset is where your money flows into you. Sa bahay, baliktad. Kasi dahil tayo nakatira, money goes out of our pocket. Dahil nagbabayad tayo ng mortgage, nagbabayad tayo ng property tax, nagbabayad tayo ng insurance, and bills. Because we use the house. The only way that we have a chance to say that our house is an asset is if we sell it for a profit. Diba? Nagkaroon tayo ng equity, and then, here comes, nabili natin ng property ng a good price. So, after 5 years, 10 years, ibinenta natin. Then, there you go. We have an appreciation. We have a big equity. So, that's the only time na masasabi mo, I made money on my house. But, other than that, the house that you live in will not be categorized as an asset. It's a liability. Okay? It's a liability. Again, hindi mo din masasabi na you're gonna make money in your house, especially if you become very emotional when you buy that house. Yun ang reality nun. Kasi nga, sa nangyayari sa market ngayon, when everything is going up, ang daming multiple offers na nangyayari na house. So instead of you buying a house at manenegotiate mo yung price, and the tendency is for you to add up in order to get that house. Paano kung nagkaroon ka ng emotional dun sa bahay? Like, gusto ko yung bahay na yon, I wanna get that. So meron kang 8-10 kalaban in a multiple offer situation. So what you're gonna do, add up. Todo na natin yan. And then, only to find out, after 10 years, down the road, kung ibibenta mo na yung bahay mo, it's the same price as when you bought it for 10 years ago. Diba? It happens. It's actually happening right now. I've been in real estate for more than 15 years. Those who emotionally purchase their house, they are not making anything or something like an appreciation of value on the house that they bought. Kasi they bought it at a very high price during that time. So, hindi mo masasabi. One of the quotes na maririnig mo from investors are, you make money when you bought the property. It's not when you sell it. Did you hear that? Sa maraming investors? Kasi that's the way to make money in a property. You buy it at the right price, and then you will not worry about selling it when the time comes. But majority of the time, because of how it's happening, na ang daming multiple offers, gusto mo na yung bahay, o pinapaalis ka na sa apartment mo, kailangan mo nang makabili ng house, it happens. I have so many clients like that. Ate Mel, kailangan makuha na natin yon. Hindi na kami makakapag-stay in an apartment by April. So, I need to move in by March. It happens. So, I was like, kailangan makahanap tayo ng mga properties, i-compare natin silang lahat, and that's it. Ako pa naman, I'm not really into a multiple offer situation. I had clients here. Si Van, client ko sila for a very long time. I believe 2012, kung daw nagkakamali. Si Brian, client ko for 3 years ago, Brian? 3 years ago. Si Jason at si Alvin, parehong new house ang binili namin. Kasi when we're looking for a property, bukod sa ang papangit, ang mamahal, di ba? we better do a new home na. Kasi ang lapit-lapit ng presyo, you just have to wait for a year, and then wala kang kalaban dun sa property mo, right? Kasi hindi ako fan ng multiple offer situation. I am not. And I really hate it when this thing happens. Kasi walang panalo ang buyer eh. Think about it. Sinong nananalo sa multiple offer situation, di ba? It's always the seller. And the seller's market, hanggang ngayon, seller's market pa rin tayo sa Winnipeg. So if you wanna cash in, ito yung mga panahon na i-cash in mo yung property mo, for sure, pagkakaguluhan. Kasi, especially if you're in a good location, ay nako, it's 100% na merong multiple offers siya. Sister Ellen, dyan sa may malapit sa'yo, in Inkster, there are 4 offers on 1090 Inkster. And it's not even, yung inayos ba yung bahay or inirent? Wala. It's been nasa original state siya, and the basement is not even finished. 299.9, and there are 4 offers. I was like, forget it. Pero nag-offer pa rin kami, just trying. And I was like, sorry, hindi talaga. I'm very meticulous when I'm representing a buyer. Kasi especially if alam mo kung ano yung situations ng kliyente, diba? It's just tough pagdating sa multiple offer situation. But these are happening. That's why house is not really considered as an asset if you're gonna think about it. Dahil bukod sa nandun ng emotions mo, nandun gastos ka ng gastos sa kanya. Pagdating ng possession date, parang mas magandang magpalit ng pintura. $3,000 easy. Pintura lang yun. O diba? Kailangan nating magpalagay ng curtain. Nako, additional 1,500 yun. Napakadali, di ba? Hindi natin napapansin, it piles up. And then here comes your mortgage, your property tax, your insurance every month, and the bills. Okay, kasi meron tayo previously na apartment na binabayaran, halos ganun din naman. But again, hindi natin nakikita yung every little things na dinadagdag natin as we go. Kaya, here's the good news. When you learn about investing, sabi nga ng Scotiabank ba yun? Ayan, announcement. Parang nag-ano tuloy ako. Nag-advertise ako ng Scotiabank. You're richer than what you think. Tama ba? Sila ba may sabi nun? Kasi, pag meron kang bahay, hindi mo lang alam yung power mo eh. You have the power to invest yung sinasabing equity on that house. But of course, you have to be very, very careful with this. Okay, here's some statistics. I'm gonna tell you about the statistics. Pumapasok tayo dun sa, multifamily, bakit tayo, where can we invest? Or paano ba? How can we invest? Or why are we investing here? Or where to start? Saan ba tayo magsisimula? Laging laging related yan sa, of course, your goals, ano ba talaga? Anything that you do. Ito lang ang pwede kong ma-share from my personal, for our personal story. Anything that you do, kailangan align siya doon sa main goal mo in life. Kasi otherwise, dadating yung time na para ka nasa limbo. You don't really know what you're doing. Just make it sure that it is aligned doon sa gusto mong mangyari. And everything is being planned. Okay? So meron kang goals, meron kang why. Bakit ko ba kailangan pang gawin to? Okay? Laging merong ganon. So if you were gonna search about investing, I would say the reason why ito yung pinag-usapan natin 2 weeks ago, kung naaalala nyo, bakit ba maganda ang multifamily investing? Bakit ba ganun siya? Bukod sa it is what the government is needing right now. So you are supporting a government project na kailangan natin ng housing, kailangan na ang laki ng demand sa housing. I was just listening to a podcast in BC kanina, and the demand for housing is really huge. And itong mga investors na nasa BC, they either tawag nito, keep whatever they have in their portfolios, and then kung mag-build pa sila and keep them. Okay, kasi inaabangan ko yung they're gonna build and sell. Pero ang narinig ko sa kanila, they're gonna build and keep it. Kasi nga, ang laki ng government's demand sa housing. And when it comes to this housing na sinasabi, hindi ito yung single family homes Hindi yan yung mga nandyan sa new development. Hindi yon. Ang pinag-uusapang housing dito is yung multi-family. Mga rental units. Okay, yun yung pinag-uusapan dito na may malaking need ang ating government. Hindi lang dito sa Canada actually, it's both North America and us. Dahil sa pagtaas ng value ng mga properties, majority of the time, ang family ngayon is opting to rent than to own. Sa atin sa Winnipeg, medyo halos balance pa yan Pero in the big cities like Toronto, Vancouver, na ang tataas ng value ng property, they opted to rent than to own. Masyadong mataas ang cost. So therefore, multifamily is really the way to go. Kung titingnan mo yung consistency pagdating sa income, nandun siya. So yung purpose mo to sustain yung regular income mo every single month, you'll find that kind of opportunity sa multifamily. Sa mga ibang klase ng assets like warehouses, so where you owned a big facility, pag nawala yung tenant mo doon, it will take some time to put another tenants in. So, yun yung kaibahan ng multifamily into other types of assets. Ang land, bihira ang nagre-rent. Or kung meron man, hindi ganun unlike yung mga families that they need a roof over the head. Consistent yon, buwan-buwan. Your money flows every single month. Diba? Yun. So, where to start? Aligned with your purpose and goals. Plus, here's the thing. I-analyze natin tong statistics na nangyayari ngayon. I'm listening to a course na sinasabi niya, 76% of American are living paycheck to paycheck. American. Alam niyo sa Canada kung ilang percent? That's 76%. In Canada, medyo okay tayo dito. 54%. But still more than 50% is living paycheck to paycheck. Anong relationship dun sa pinag-uusapan natin? Kung ikaw ay empleyado and you're gonna be an employee for life. Gusto ko for life. Okay? You'll be in that category if you will not do something now. That's the reality natin dito sa Canada or sa North America. That's a big percentage. Nakakatakot isipin, And here's another thing that will give us a hint paano tayo magsisimula mag-invest. 5 years ago, the trends of appreciation ng value ng asset natin, homes. Actually, I'm talking about houses kasi majority of us here has a house. Dito pumapasok yung idea na we're richer than what we think. Di natin alam kasi unless somebody tells us about this na meron tayong equity sa ating bahay that already grew so much that we didn't even touch it. In the US, it's based on the National Association of Realtors. In 5 years, 48% ang itinaas ng property value. So meaning, if you bought your house in 2020 or 2019, 2024, kung 250,000 yon, let's say, 250,000 times 48 is almost 50% ang tinaas niya. So 370,000 this year. Yun yung value. Kita nyo, you don't even put anything in your house. But that's how the value increased sa property natin. Sa Canada, hindi ganun kalaki. Sa Canada is only 44%. So, 44%, it's still on the floor. Meaning, kung bumili ka ng bahay na how much? Let's say, ang value ng bahay natin dito in 2020. Kasi ngayon, sa Winnipeg, if we're talking about Winnipeg market, we're 400 average houses. Okay, yung medyo maayos na 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, finished basement, bungalow, nasa 430 to 450,000. 5 years ago, nasa 280 lang yan 280. 5 years ago. Well, our house sa West St. Paul, outside Winnipeg kami, although close to Winnipeg, 7 years, halos na doble yung price niya So, there is a power sa bahay natin. Ito ang point. Majority of Canadians, not only Filipinos, pero majority Filipino. Kasi nga tayo, we are very, very scared. Tayo yung takot magnegosyo, takot tayo mag-invest. I don't know for whatever reason who taught us that. Na hindi tayo marunong hindi naman gamble yun eh. Ang tingin nila kasi pa nagnenegosyo, nagka-gamble. It's not. It's not. You're going out of the norm. Kasi ang norm is yung sinasabing rat race. Gising ka sa umaga, ligo, pasok sa work, balik sa bahay, sa hapon, luto, kain, tulog, gising ulit. Diba? Routine yon, Monday to Friday. Pagdating ng Saturday, hi, salamat, break. 2 days. And then Monday, ito na naman. Kaya may sinasabing Monday sickness eh. Ang Monday sickness daw yung tipong ang sarap ng bakasyon ng Saturday and Sunday. Tapos ito na naman, papasok na naman ako. Actually, sa statistics sa health, alam nyo ba, mas marami daw namamatay ng Monday sa mga empleyado. That's a fact. Yeah, sa health. Kasi yung feel nila na nagbakasyon and they have 2 days of off and then eto na naman babalik na naman sa trabaho, that is a stress level for all of the employees, especially yung nasa higher level ng management. Kaya diba minsan, I heard it from many Filipinos, mga katropa, sasabihin nila, naku, I would rather stay dito sa lower level. Ganun din naman, halos sa tataas lang ng konti ang sweldo mo pero naando naman sa lahat ng responsibility. I'll better stay in this position. Sa kanila na lang yung mga managerial. Diba? Parang iwas sa stress. It doesn't work. It's not worth it. Diba? Pero that's how it is. Kasi nga, tayong if we are in the employment cycle, doon lang tayo umiikot. Takot tayo na mag-try mag-business. We will belong to that category of 54% paycheck to paycheck. Huwag naman sana. Let's do something different, di ba? Let's use these resources na meron tayo. Huwag tayong matakot na magnegosyo. And it's not at all, sabi nga nila, it's not at all times kasi ang negosyo ay nagiging successful. Well, it depends on the person who's doing the business, di ba? Kung naengganyo ka lang magnegosyo, ay huwag ka magnegosyo. Dapat meron kang direksyon sa pagnenegosyo, di ba? Or dito sa pinag-uusapan natin, meron akong trabaho pero kaya ko mag-invest. I have some funds to invest. Do it. Lalo na kung ang asset na pinag-uusapan dito is the hard asset. Just like what we were doing. Now, gaya ng sinabi sa atin ng ating coach, do not lose money on real estate. That's the first rule. Second rule is go back to rule number 1. Do not lose money on real estate. Okay? Kasi kapag alam natin yung ginagawa natin, remember the numbers that we had discussed previously, kapag alam natin yun, we will never go wrong. We will never go wrong. Kasi all of this, sa multifamily investing, you can track the numbers. Very transparent. Napaka-simpleng computation that you have a rent, times 12 months, times how many units. If you wanna scale, more is better. Expenses, it's all, sabi nga, calculated lahat. Kaya kung sakasakali that you are thinking about that kind of route, by next week, we will gonna invite one of my financial sa mortgage siya, that he can discuss about some of the parang options paano gagawin. Kasi nga hindi naman sa lahat parang right away mo gagawin yung paano kung kukuhanin kong equity, ano bang gagawin ko, blah blah blah. You have to be ready. Kailangan alam mo kung ano yung ginagawa mo. Number 1, hindi ka basta magjo-join lang basta. O sabi kasi ni Mel kailangan daw mag-invest sa real estate. O sige, sasali na ako. Hindi ganoon. You have to understand the flow, yung process, papaano, yung nitty-gritty nito. Marami tong nitty-gritty. If something is off or something is not right, kailangan magre-raise kayo ng questions. Hindi basta yung excitement nyo lang yung sasabihin, sabi nila meron daw income na may cash flow or something like that. Pag nag-invest sa real estate, alamin nyo mabuti. At the end of the day, this is your money, this is your investment. Okay? Tayo ay yung sa aming karanasan, nakaranas na kami ng one cycle. Naalala ko tuloy, Sister Berna, yung sinasabi ni Coach na mas magiging maganda pag mas maraming units kasi you're gonna be doing the same thing. And the cost is very similar. Parang the cost of 100 units is the same as the cost of 28 units. Parang one and the same ang lumalabas. And I was like, totoo nga naman, cheaper by the dozen. Narinig niyo na ba yung quote na yun, na cheaper by the dozen? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, it's actually the same. Kung meron man siyang increase ng konti, it's just a very slight increase. Kaya walang pinag-iwan yan doon sa pagko-compute natin ng ating investment. Okay, you have 100 units. mawalan ka ng 2 tenant, that's only 2%. Kung meron kang 4-plex, 4 na units, nawala yung 2 tenant, ilang percent na? 50% agad, diba? So similarly, that's how the expense works too. So it's cheaper kapag ka mas marami. Kaya next time mas marami natin. Mas marami ang bibili natin next time. Meron ba kayong questions so far sa ating discussions? Kasi ang majority are asking, paano ba talaga magsisimula yan? At ano bang mechanics or whatever? Sabi ko nga sa kanila, alam mo, it's better to sit down kasi hindi basta yung kung paano eh. Mas maganda bakit. Bakit mo to aalamin, di ba? Bakit mo gusto? Ano bang gusto mong mangyari, 'di ba? Kasi minsan it's just an excitement, it's just a feeling of kasi ginawa to ng kaibigan ko eh. I think gagawin ko din. You should have a very strong why you are doing things. Yun yung natutunan ko kay Uncle. For you to become very, very successful in life. And sabi niya, everything that you do, kailangan meron kang reason, may purpose, meron kang malinaw na direksyon. Why are you going that path? Very, very important. So, hindi siya yung tipong na-carried away ka lang ng avalanche. Sabi kasi, mga kaibigan ko, tropa tayo, di ba? Marami sa ating Pilipino na ganyan. Ay nako, sinabi kasi nito eh, kaya gagawin ko din. I am telling you, there are a lot of great reasons to invest. Pero ang pinaka-importante dito is your clarity. Why are you doing this? Okay? Why are you doing this? Kasi yung why, pag malinaw yon, ang dali ng how. Napakadali ng how. Napakadali din kung saan mo kukuhanin yung iyong pang-invest. Saan ko kukuhanin niya? Ang dali, kasi malinaw sa'yo yung why. Okay? Malinaw. But yun ang pinaka-importanting malaman natin. So of course, yung how ay meron niyang a process. And yung process na yun yung pag-uusapan natin, God willing, by next week. Kasi especially if it is related to finance, si Sister, nasa finance yan. Si Sister Bernas, si Sister Ellen, nasa finance sila. So maraming ways pagdating sa investment and stuff. Pagdating sa equity ng bahay, ang equity ng house, paano mo siya mapupull? Merong ways to go around it. Pero hindi yan by group. That's very individual. Bahay nyo, bahay ko. Ganun. And you have to know ano yung capacity nyo talaga. Kasi doon siya magsisimula eh. Unless meron kayong any other types of savings or you have your money parked somewhere where it makes more money, si Uncle ayaw niya na ang pera niyo nakalagay lang sa bangko. Kasi alam mong ibig daw sabihin nun, you don't know how to use your money. You just trust your bank to use that money, have them do business, and then ikaw makikinabang ka lang sa 0.12% every year. Tama ba yun? Less than 1% ang interest ng mga savings sa bangko or regular savings account, less than 1%. Pagka high rate, nasaan 2%. Tama ba yun? I saw one ad from one bank, sabi 5% interest, high rate savings. Pero may nakalagay na maraming asterisk hanggang 4 months lang, and then it's gonna go back to the regular or their standard interest rate. And it's subject to taxes. Okay? So but anyways, if you have that kind of savings parked somewhere and you want to use it, put it into work. Yun naman ang purpose natin dito eh. Let our money work for us the smartest way. The smartest way. Kasi if we can do that the earlier, the better will be our retirement. Kasi sabi nga nila, if we will not learn how to use our money to work for us, we're gonna work for money all the days of our life. Kung gusto nyo yun, don't do anything. Pero if you don't like it, just like me, ayoko yata nun. Gusto ko yung tipong I enjoy life habang malakas, naalagaan ko yung sarili ko, na hindi ako nag-worry about dun sa everyday's like cost of living, di ba? Or any expense. Makakapag-travel ka pag gusto mo magtrabaho, okay, di ba? Something like that. Kasi life, sabi nga ni Orly pa nag-uusap kami, hindi tayo nagpunta dito sa Canada para magtrabaho lang. We are here for sure. Ang majority of us has a reason why we came here, kasi we want a good life, di ba? Yun yung ating reason. Pero if you will gonna look at your life right now and you're not doing anything from the time you came here until now, ano niyo yung just parang see yourself in the mirror. Tingnan niyo kung if you progress, good. Keep doing that. Pero if you think your life is parang range, tataas, bababa, tapos overall parang pababa, maybe think about something na dapat magbago. Evaluate your life. Kasi minsan, hindi natin nagagawa yun because of our business. Pagdating natin dito, may mga anak tayo, mag-aaral, papasok sa school, tayo naman papasok sa work. Ang naisip na lang natin yung ganung routine. Every day, rat race, every day. And then only to find out, sabihin, ay magre-retire na, naka 20 years na pala ako dito sa Canada, magre-retire na. Tapos parang nasaan yung aking nasa kaya yung 20 years na pinagtrabahuhan ko dito, parang walang nangyari, di ba? If we are just cautious, ito, very important. If we are just cautious about how our life here, i-compare nyo every single year kung kayo ba ay nagpo-progress or nagre-regress. Kasi according to Uncle, sabi niya, our life is not the same. It will never be the same. You will either progress or regress. Diba, majority sa atin sabi, kamusta ka? Kapareho pa rin ng dati. Hindi totoo yun. It's not true. In the very first place, mas tumanda ka. So, hindi ka nakapareho dati. Mas matanda ka na ngayon kaysa dati. Di ba? The thing is, meron dapat progress in our life every day. Every single day. Kung yesterday you're here, dapat the following day medyo umangat ka ng konti. The next day, tataas ka ulit. Kasi progressing. Dapat ganun ang life natin. Pero, who is doing it? Honestly. Meron ba tayong ganung moment in our life na parang we do some check-ins? Naalala ko tuloy yung anak ko. Sabi niya, Mom, yung Wednesday, it's a wins day. What are your wins? What are your wins? Kaya doon ako natuto nung lagi natin pinag-uusapan sa club na, what are your wins? I want you to share your wins. Kasi minsan, ang iniisip nating wins are those big things. No, every day we have wins. We just have to make it sure that we can see those wins every single day in our life. Kasi that's the only way that we will become very grateful on what God is doing us every single day. Diba? Hindi natin masasabing, I'm so grateful for today, or I'm so grateful this moment kaysa kanina kasi this moment I have seen this or that. Or I accomplished this or that. Diba? Kung hindi tayo ganun ka-cautious, just be very cautious on what we were doing. So, in the investment side, it's the same thing. It's very the same, very similar. Kailangan alam natin, why are we doing this? Ano yung magiging benefit natin kapag ginawa natin to? And take note, learning how to do the investing is it's an education actually. And education never stops. Ito yung learning process na to, hindi siya yung tipong, alam ko na yan narinig ko na yan nung last 2 sessions, I'm okay with that. Kung sa kagaya ng education, imagine niyo when we were so young, why our teacher is giving us an assignment or a work tawag nito, parang sa ating sa ating class, ibigyan tayo ng, okay, write your names on this whole sheet of paper. Like, paulit-ulit. It's a repetition of your name. Imelda Bibar. Imelda de la Cruz Bibar. Imelda de la Cruz Bibar. Imelda de la... Yung buong sheet na yon, di ba? If you think about that kind of learning that we had when we were kids, yung multiplication table, 1 times 1 equals 1. Isa-cite mo pa yon sa harapan ka pa ng class. If you will think about how that kind of learning or education, alam nyo, do the same thing over and over and over again. It will give you a different result pagdating sa ganitong stage in life. Kasi it's just the same as reading the books too. If you read the book 1 time, it has a different meaning. Nagbago ka after 1 month. When you read the same book, you're gonna get a different meaning. Kasi you change. Those changes in your life, those are wins. Diba? So in real estate, the same as investing, ito yung natutunan kong sabi, kailangan mas marami daw na doors, mas maganda. Paano naman tayo makakabili ng 100 units? Ayun nga, isang bahay, hirap na hirap tayo, di ba? Kasi tayo yung ini-evaluate kasi pagka isang unit. Pero pag marami ng units, it has a different calculation. So those are the learnings that we had discussed in the past. So yun yung continuous learning na to, moving forward, that will lead us into more understanding, ano ba yung kailangan nating malaman. And makikita nyo, always evaluate yung, kasi this is all numbers. That's why I love it. Kaya gusto namin to ni sister, gusto namin to ni Brian, kasi loves namin ng numbers, mga accountant kami. Sorry dun sa iba, mga bias. Si Orly absent siya nung pagdating sa math. Hindi niya masyado. Kaya pag pinag-uusapan ng math, parang gusto na lang niyang kumanta kahit ayaw niyang kumanta. Anyways, sabi niya ako sa art. So anyways, that's his forte. Kasi ang numbers, as I always say, it never lies. Pag sinabing 1 + 1 = 2, that's the exact answer. Pag 2 × 2 = 4, that is the exact answer. Diba? Pag sinabing meron kang duplex, 2 unit yon. One of the unit is vacant. That's 50%. Automatic. That's numbers. Diba? That's 50% vacancy. So, dun pumapatak yung when we try to understand multifamily investing, you will appreciate even more kapag ka naintindihan nyo na yung, cap rate. Importante pala yung cap rate pagdating sa pagva-value ng asset. And cap rate is always one of the key numbers sa underwriting. Okay, yung word na underwriting, that's also one word na present sa investing. Okay, mapa strip mall yan, mapa office yan, mapa warehouse, industrial, etc. It is being used, those kind of words, and that's what the bank's word is too. Sinabing, in-underwrite mo na ba? Yeah, di ba? Ganon yun. So, maybe it's also a good topic to discuss next week. So, aside from, we have our mortgage specialist by next week. We're gonna have exercises. Tingnan natin kung magagawa natin yung underwriting using yung underwriting calculator natin. I hope every one of you has a copy of that. If you don't have a copy of the underwriting, underwriting calculator, just let me know. Okay, para papadala ko sa inyo yung na yon. And ang bilis ng oras. It's almost 7 o'clock ulit. Sige, let's open up kung merong questions or whatever. Any questions sa grupo? Galing talaga. Walang question, ha? Natatakot ako. Alala ko tuloy yung teacher ko. Natatakot ako, Mel, pag walang question. Bakit? Kasi it's either naintindihan nilang lahat or wala silang naintindihan. So, dalawa daw ang ibig sabihin ng walang question. Sana naintindihan nyo. But yeah, it's good to take note of those two statistics sa US at sa Canada. One good point is, if you own your house more than 5 years ago, check your bank. More than 44% na niyan ang equity mo. Nadagdagan na siya ng... And take note, that 44% is not the amount you're paying, okay? Hindi yun. Hindi yun yung pinipay off mo na bumababa ang principal balance mo every month. Hindi yun. It's on top of how much you bought it for, or how much is the market value when you bought it for. Okay, yun yung time na yon. And hopefully, hindi kayo nag-overprice nung time na binili niyo yung property niyo. Kasi kung hindi ba, wala pa kayong equity hanggang ngayon.
Yun nga yung tatanong ko, Sis Mel, yung basis ng equity. Akala ko, yun nga yung equity mo is yung purchase price, then whatever is the outstanding na lang, yung difference nun. So, hindi. So, it's the market value and then kung minus the outstanding balance.
Exactly.
Pero may pag sa bangko, only 80% lang ang makukuha daw pagkain sa equity.
Pagka kinuha mo yung equity, yung loan to value, may sinasabi sila na loan to value, 80% lang. So, okay, malinaw yun ha. So, let's say, binili mo yung bahay mo ng 200,000. Ngayon, nabayaran mo na yung 100,000 after 10 years, kunwari lang. Nabayaran mo na yung 100,000. So, ang balance mo na lang 100,000, di ba? Eh, after 10 years, sabihin na lang natin, kasi 5 years nga, 44% na eh. Sabihin na lang natin, 50% na yung in-increase ng value. So, yung 200,000 mo na bahay, 300,000 na ngayon. Diba? So, your equity is 300,000 minus yung balance mo sa mortgage na 100,000. So, you have $200,000 na equity. But, hindi mo makukuha yon. Kasi ang ginagawa ng bankong computation is 300,000 na ngayon ang bahay mo, di ba? 80% lang nun ang lalagyan nila ng loan. Kaya yun sinasabing loan to value. So, 80% ng 300,000 is 240,000. So, yun yung pagbabasihan nila ng loan. Yun ang loan ngayon na bago, 240. Eh may previous kang loan na 100,000. Diba? Yun yung balance ng mortgage mo. So, ang equity take-out na tinatawag is 240 minus yung 100,000. So, you have 140,000 in your house na pwede mong kuhanin as equity. So, that's how yung equity na yon na pwede mong pakinabangan. And imagine that money, if it stays in your house, is not doing anything for you. Not doing anything for you, if you think about it. Pero alam nyo kung sinong gumagamit ng equity na yon? Sino? Bangko. Walang iba. Kasi takot kayong gamitin, sila na lang gagamit. O, diba? That's how it is. At pinapautang yun ng bangko at a higher interest. Pinapautang nga sa atin yun minsan eh. Tapos tayo pa yung interest ng mas na. Anyways. But that's how it is. That's economy. Diba? The bank creates their own economy. Why not you? Why not us? Because we can create our own economy. Diba? Pwede natin gawin yun. So, that's a good question. Any other question?
Pag wala nagtanong, ako ulit pwede.
Sige, sister. Okay.
Follow up lang dun sa equity na yan. Kasi nga, medyo interesado na nga ako dyan eh. So, one of the requirements, kasi refinancing ang tawag na dyan, di ba? If you get equity from your house, from your mortgage nga. So, kailangan pa rin nilang i-underwrite yung tao mismo na mag-refinance. Yung, di ba, mortgagee.
Yeah.
Yun. So, hindi ka agad-agad na, may equity ako eh, sigurado, magre-refinance na ako, makakakuha ng pera. Not that easy, di ba?
Hindi.
Oh, yun.
Yeah. Kaya, the key thing is, pakinabangan natin ang ating trabaho ngayon. Kasi that's one of the ways that your job will gonna help you. Yung sinasabi nila na, magne-negosyo na lang ako, aalis ako sa trabaho. Op, teka muna. Stop. Okay? That's not the way it should be. Kailangan, bago ka umalis ng trabaho mo, make it sure meron kang stable na negosyo. Kasi in the very first place, unless siguro meron ka ng malaking kapital, bakit hindi? Pero kung kakailanganin mo ng utang to start your business or your investment, hindi mo kailangan munang umalis ng trabaho. Your work will be your best friend at that time. Nandito tayo sa Canada. So, that's that. That's one of the ways na mapapakinabangan natin ang trabaho natin. Di ba kahit di naman sa pagkuha ng bahay, ay kailangan meron kang trabaho. So, similarly, dahil house yung ating portfolio na ipapakita natin sa bangko, then, sa refinancing, yun talaga ang basis. It's our house. Pero alam nyo, when it comes to multifamily, iba. Ang basis nila ng refinancing asset. Ibang-iba, no? That's the beauty of it. Hindi mo kailangang ikaw ang i-qualify. It is the asset na i-qualify nila pagdating sa refinancing. Yung sinasabi nating discussion about 3 weeks ago, yung multiplier effect ng sa real estate, when after 5 years, or sabihin natin 10 years na you own this building. Example, yung nabili natin na 28 units. You own that building in 10 years. So of course, in 10 years, tumaas na yung value niya kasi tumaas na yung rent niya, right? Pag gusto mong kuhanin ng equity nun, you can easily take it without you being hindi kayo na kailangan evaluate o may trabaho ka ba, meron ka bang utang. No, it's the asset. Kasi bakit? Yung asset kasi ang nagbabayad sa sarili niya. Ang house kasi hindi nagbabayad sa sarili niya. Tayo ang nagbabayad ng bahay natin, correct? That's the big difference ng dalawang asset category na yan. House and apartment building. That's one of the big difference ng dalawang investment na yan. All right, time is up. Next week ulit, mag-aaral ulit tayo. We will keep on doing this. And let's pray na by before the end of the month, magkaroon tayo ng opportunity ulit na maka-acquire. Kaya get ready tayo, just in case. Ang gagawin naman kasi natin is this, just like what we did on the first deal. When we had the first deal, we underwritten it, we got it, ipipresent yun sa bawat isa sa atin. For us to understand yung details, ano yung asset category na yun, paano ba yung partnership pagka ginawa. So those kind of stuff. That's gonna be when we found the deal. Kasi marami nagtatanong sa akin, Mel, isama mo naman kami pagka, paano ba yan? Maglalabas ba kami ng 20%? O say, wow, 10 million ang pinag-uusapan dito. Powers, 20% ang ilan. Sana all. Diba? Hindi, ang alam kasi nila, it's parang yung bumibili ng bahay or kailangan ba natin na ganito, or it's a different approach pagdating sa apartment buildings. So sana mag-materialize yung ating susunod na acquisition, and with God's help.